As Epictetus once said, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Have you ever walked into a room, said something, and instantly felt like you didn't belong? Maybe you caught yourself over-explaining, seeking validation, or avoiding eye contact, and thought, why do I feel so insecure? Well, you're not alone. We all have those moments when social interactions leave us questioning ourselves. But what if I told you that some of these social mistakes are completely within your control, and that with a little mindset shift, you can come across as more confident and composed than ever before? Enter the wisdom of Stoicism, the ancient philosophy that helps you stay calm, composed, and unshaken in any situation. Today, we're diving into 7 social mistakes that make you look insecure, and how to fix them with Stoic principles that have been shaping leaders, warriors, and wise thinkers for centuries. Ready to unlock your inner strength? Let's get started. Number 1. Over-apologizing or seeking constant validation. Over-apologizing is often a defense mechanism, something that stems from a fear of rejection or not being good enough. In situations where people apologize too frequently, or seek constant validation, they're typically concerned about how others perceive them. And that, my friend, creates an ongoing cycle of self-doubt and anxiety. The need for validation arises because these individuals are seeking external sources to affirm their worth, which, over time, erodes their internal confidence. From a Stoic standpoint, this reliance on others' approval for self-worth is misguided. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, taught that the only thing within our control is our own thoughts, actions, and judgments. The opinions and reactions of others are entirely outside of our control. So, placing our value in these external validations? It's inherently unstable. Stoicism teaches that true confidence comes from the development of internal virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, which are not influenced by the transient judgments of others. To adopt a Stoic approach to over-apologizing or validation-seeking, start by recognizing your inherent worth and acting in accordance with your values. When you make a mistake, acknowledge it succinctly, take responsibility, and correct your course of action, without excessively apologizing or seeking reassurance. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, constantly reminds himself that the only thing that truly matters is whether he acts virtuously. The key takeaway here is this: your value comes from the quality of your character, not how others perceive you. This shift in mindset helps you cultivate self-reliance, allowing you to stop apologizing unnecessarily or relying on external validation to feel secure in who you are. Number 2. People-pleasing. People-pleasing often stems from the fear of conflict, criticism, or rejection. When someone constantly tries to please others, they do so at the expense of their own desires, needs, and values. They feel insecure and act out of a desire for approval, sometimes compromising their own well-being in the process. Over time, this habit can lead to burnout, resentment, and a diminished sense of self. Stoicism offers a clear remedy to people-pleasing. The Stoics emphasize that we cannot control others' opinions or desires, only our own thoughts and actions. Seneca and Epictetus both argued that living virtuously, according to wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation, should be our ultimate goal. Pleasing others is often about avoiding conflict or seeking external approval, which can divert us from acting according to our true values. A Stoic aims not to please others for the sake of external approval, but to act rightly for the sake of internal alignment with their virtues. To apply Stoicism to this, you must focus on setting healthy boundaries and saying no when necessary. Understand that pleasing everyone is an impossible task. The more you try to meet everyone's expectations, the more you compromise your own values. By focusing on doing what's right according to your own understanding of virtue, you stop being motivated by others' desires and start living authentically. Remember, true peace and happiness come from self-respect, not external validation. Epictetus famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Apply this wisdom when you feel pressure to please others, choose your reactions wisely and act in alignment with your values. Number 3. Avoiding disagreement or conflict. Many people avoid conflict because they fear confrontation, rejection, or discomfort. This tendency to run from disagreement might offer temporary relief, but over time, it can prevent important issues from being addressed, creating internal frustration and undermining authentic relationships. It can also result in a sense of powerlessness, as you allow others to dictate the course of conversations and decisions. Stoicism teaches us that conflict is inevitable and not inherently bad. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations that we must accept things as they are and adapt to life's challenges, including disagreements. What matters is how we approach them, not with anger or defensiveness, but with calm and rationality. Stoics believe that reason should govern our interactions, not emotions. Epictetus reminds us that we should always focus on maintaining our integrity in the face of disagreement, without being overly concerned about the outcome or how others might react. The Stoic approach to conflict is to embrace it with equanimity. Instead of fearing conflict, view it as an opportunity to learn, clarify your values, and grow. If you disagree with someone, express your opinion calmly and rationally, without seeking to win the argument or manipulate the other person's response. Recognize that disagreement doesn't diminish your worth, and that it's a natural part of human interaction. By practicing objectivity and emotional restraint, you can engage in conflict productively, without letting it disrupt your peace. Number 4. Overthinking or ruminating on social interactions. Overthinking is a deeply ingrained habit that stems from insecurity and a lack of confidence. People who overthink often replay conversations and social events, worrying about how they were perceived or whether they made mistakes. This constant rumination is not only emotionally exhausting but also unproductive. The Stoics offer practical guidance to escape this cycle. Stoicism emphasizes focusing on the present moment and not dwelling on past events. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminds himself in Meditations that what's done is done, and that the only thing in his control is how he reacts in the present. Stoicism teaches that past events, including social interactions, are immutable. They cannot be changed or controlled. Obsessing over them is futile and only leads to emotional distress. To stop overthinking, begin by practicing mindfulness and awareness. After social interactions, allow yourself a brief period of reflection, but don't allow yourself to dwell endlessly on what was said or done. Instead of ruminating, ask yourself, what can you learn from the interaction to improve your future conduct? Remember, Stoic wisdom centers on action, not thought. Reflect briefly, and then focus on what you can do in the present to improve yourself. 5. Excessive self-criticism. Excessive self-criticism is a common trait of insecure individuals who feel they are never good enough or constantly fall short of perfection. This leads to feelings of inadequacy and often prevents them from taking action. The Stoics, however, distinguish between rational self-assessment and destructive self-criticism. Stoicism advocates for an honest and rational examination of one's actions and thoughts. Epictetus taught that the goal of self-reflection is not to punish oneself, but to learn and improve. The Stoics acknowledge that we are imperfect, and that mistakes are an opportunity for growth, not a reflection of our worth. Seneca and Marcus Aurelius both spoke about treating oneself with kindness and understanding, rather than harsh judgment. When you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, reflect on what you can learn from it and how you can improve going forward. The key is to focus on constructive self-reflection rather than self-punishment. A Stoic does not define themselves by their flaws, but rather by their commitment to improvement. So, if you feel tempted to criticize yourself, remember, the Stoic response is to examine the mistake rationally, understand its cause, and use it as an opportunity for learning and growth. Number 6. Displaying extreme reactions, overjoyed or depressed. Extreme emotional reactions, whether overly joyful or deeply depressed, often arise from an over-reliance on external circumstances. The Stoics believed in maintaining equanimity, or emotional balance, regardless of life's fluctuations. For the Stoic, both extreme joy and sorrow are distractions from a steady, virtuous life. Marcus Aurelius warns against allowing either joy or sorrow to disturb our inner peace because both are temporary states. When we allow ourselves to be overly elated or overly distressed, we are giving control over our emotions to external circumstances. Stoicism teaches that external events are neither good nor bad in themselves. What matters is how we choose to respond to them. To practice emotional regulation according to Stoic principles, begin by moderating your emotional responses. Enjoy life's joys without clinging to them or allowing them to define your happiness. Similarly, when faced with sorrow, allow yourself to feel it, but don't let it consume you. Recognize that emotions are temporary, and choose to maintain an inner balance, focusing on virtue and wisdom rather than fluctuating external circumstances. Number 7. Constant comparison to others. Comparison to others is a major source of insecurity. When you constantly compare yourself to others, you inevitably set yourself up for disappointment because there will always be someone who appears to have more, be better, or achieve more. This comparison can fuel feelings of inadequacy and dissatisfaction with your own life. Stoicism teaches that comparing yourself to others is a futile exercise because everyone's life is unique and shaped by different circumstances. Epictetus taught that we should compare ourselves only to the person we were yesterday, measuring our progress based on our own growth and development. Seneca echoed this sentiment, advising that we should focus on our own virtue rather than comparing our success to others. To combat constant comparison, focus on your personal journey in growth. Ask yourself, am I becoming the person I want to be, rather than measuring your life against others? Understand that everyone's path is different, and true fulfillment comes from aligning your actions with your own values and goals, not from measuring up to someone else's achievements. By practicing self-compassion and focusing on personal development, you can free yourself from the trap of comparison. So, there you have it, 7 social mistakes that make you look insecure, and how you can use Stoic wisdom to transform your approach. Remember, confidence isn't about pretending to have all the answers, it's about embracing the journey, owning your actions, and staying grounded in what you can control. If you want to start embodying more Stoic calm in your life, try practicing just one of these principles today. And before you go, I've got a challenge for you. Next time you're in a social situation, take a deep breath, hold your ground, and see how much more at ease you feel. You might just surprise yourself. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share this with someone who could use a little extra confidence boost. Stay strong, stay calm, and as always, keep living like a Stoic.